Ah, sweet, sweet PvP. That place that a few of us like to be in, but don't always have much success in. Welcome back to Ghana Gamers. We're a family of gamers in Ghana who love all things comic and anime related in video game context. Today we're showcasing Ichigo Kurosaki from Bleach. We've translated him onto the ESO space. Ichigo is a soul reaper or Shinigami, which is basically a deathbringer. He's basically a Malik or an angel, right? That's the best way to describe him. And what he does is he kills demons or hollows, however you want to, articulate that. And he can't be seen in the real world, which is why I chose to make him a Nightblade, because they come in and out of stealth, and I tried to relate the character's look onto ESO. So he's got kind of a trench coat thing going on there with the long robes, the Japanese style slippers, as well as the straight edged katana blade. We're showcasing him inside of a death match. So there's no objectives to worry about, no allies to have to, really consider or anything of that nature. You're just going out there and just trying to put down as many enemies as you possibly can. The beauty about a Nightblade, like a Shinigami, is that you can appear or not appear to people at will. So he comes in and he comes out. We're using Surprise Attack, which is the stamina version of Concealed Strike. This is a stand blade after all. I wanted to go with stand blade because I wanted to showcase Ichigo's sword skills. He relies a lot on the physical. He wasn't very skilled with the metaphysical or spiritual attack. He didn't know Keto or anything like that. It was all about the sword and brute strength. Physical speed and power were his tools. That's how he rolled. So we're using Cloak as a way to emulate Flash Step, which allowed them to appear to move so fast they would just disappear. And Surprise Attack, when we come out of stealth, is, as you see, this guy's a werewolf right here, and Surprise Attack, the disease attack, is problematic because they are vulnerable to disease and poison. So he can come out of werewolf form to try to stop that, but it'll still wind up killing with Executioner. Now, the beauty about all this, like I said, is that he can appear and disappear at will. So this allows me to blink out, cloak up, go back to my line, heal up, or heal myself, and get back into the action. First, we're going to go into our sets, and then we're going to go into our skills. For our sets, we use Pillar of Nirn, which applies a nasty bleed, as well as an AoE bleed over a long time, which is pretty good. So you use that in conjunction with Stampede, it does some real nasty AoE damage. Use that in conjunction with Stygian. Now, Stygian is a set you get from Cold Harbor that when you come out of stealth, you get a huge bonus to weapon and spell damage. This does great with this ability because we stealth out, we pop back in, and we try to spike damage targets as much as possible. For our monster set, I'm actually using Gaze of Sithis because if anybody's actually watched Bleach, they know Ichigo is not a tank per se, but he could take a beating. So in PvP here, I've got 28k health. This allows me to absorb quite a bit of damage. You see, I'm surviving a lot of nastiness. They're, not for lack of trying, they're trying to kill me. However, because I'm so sturdy and I'm so durable, I can just pretty much get out of that. So I just blink away, vanish out, cloak up, and roll away, and I'm good. Get back on my target, and that guy just stole my kill. But that's okay. So I'm gonna go into the next guy right here, and I'll get him. Everything will be okay. You pay for your insurrection, sir. Okay, now, as far as our weapons, on my back bar, I'm using Vatistrons. This does more AoE damage because it stacks up to 10, and whenever you do a medium attack or a heavy weave, you get a huge explosion of burst damage all over the ground. So with our charge, with our Nirnhone, and our Vatistrons, we can spike a group pretty decently, honestly. So it allows me to make up for my lack of footwork and other things that everybody else has that I don't particularly possess. So I'm not the greatest PvPer. I do okay, but there's some people around there, they'll dance circles around you. I try to make up for this with some speed enchant. So in my jewelry, I'm actually rocking 2 pieces of Swift on my jewelry so that I can move quicker. Now, as for our skills, first up is Surprise Attack. That allows me, that's my big stun. I disappear out, and if you get behind anybody or flanking anybody and you catch them with that, they're stunned. It's a nasty stun. It's a pretty good stun on it. And it breaks their armor by like 2k. That's why it's Sundering Strike. It sunders the enemy's armor with disease damage. So this does really well against werewolves or people who are, particularly vulnerable to disease and poison attacks. It's also a great stun. So those cloth wearers, they have a trouble dealing with that because when they get stunned, they can't bubble up or shield up or whatever they need to do to survive. The next up we're using is Camouflage Hunter. This is from the Fighter's Guild tree. This allows me to do bonus crit damage when I'm behind or flanking an enemy. This plays right into the whole thing of, coming up behind people and then striking them where they can't see at, which is kind of like a Bleach thing. You use your speed, you get behind an opponent, and you strike them with your sword. Next up, we're using Cloak, which is from the Shadow tree from Nightblades. Cloak allows me to vanish out and gives me an auto crit on my next attack. So, in the case of surprise attack, it's going to be a guaranteed crit, which is going to be enhanced by the Fighter Guild ability. Next, we have our Crit Charge. This gives a huge AoE on the ground. This morph of it anyway gives a huge AoE on the ground. It does, I love it, does wonders. So if you have any stealthers around there, this will bring them out of stealth. And I can also use Camouflage Hunter to bring them out of stealth if need be, but that pops them out anyway, as well as does a ton of damage. As stated, when you use that in conjunction with Nirnhold and the Vatashron's weapon, you get a decent little burst of spike damage that if people aren't ready for, might be able to catch them off guard and then give you an advantage in the fight, which follows up for our next ability, which is Executioner. This is a devastating blow. You see, you just finished that guy off right there, and it really wrecks people. When someone's under 50% health, you can actually use it as a spammable because it goes up in increments of 10. It goes up 4 times the amount of damage. So at 40%, it's 100%, 30%, 200, so on until they got 10% health left. And at that point, you're doing 400% or 4 times the amount of damage to the target. It hurts. It can literally put people on their heels. Even healers, if they're trying to heal, if they're taking that spike damage, it brings them right back down. For our front bar ultimate, we're using the Fighter Guild ability, Dawnbreaker. You add this with the other abilities I just discussed, your Crit Charge, your Nirnhold, your Vatashron's weapon. That can be overwhelming for anybody to keep up with any personal heals or with any type of healer helping them, right? So in this case right here, we see this is just me messing around. I went 16-0, and this was just messing around. Again, I'm not trying to show that I'm like a elite player or anything like that, to show that this is a build that anybody can use and have some modicum of success with. Now, if you want to see any more action with Ichigo, please stay tuned. We have the same build basically, and we're going to use it in PvE to showcase his talents.